Hey there, hi there, ho there, Prodigy heads. It's me, Coach Randy. And yes, I'll bet you weren't expecting to hear from me this soon after I posted that short video on Friday night, St. Paddy's Day, in which I talked about being sick all week and how it seemed like I probably wouldn't be at the bowl this Saturday, meaning we'd likely miss a second week in a row of Prodigy shows, yada, yada, yada. But your wait has come to an unexpectedly abrupt end. Actually, I had to deliver paperwork to our league's qualifiers for the Georgia State Pepsi tournament, so I had to man up and crawl out of my sick bed and go into the bowl. Plus, I figured I might actually feel a little better if I got out from under my own roof for a little while. And I did. And of course, once I was at the bowl, I couldn't say no to our eager kids who were anticipating bowling in another episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. And after what happened to Charlie last week...
Attention graduate customers, the customer who ordered the Crazy Dough.
And my rather odd comment about it in the St. Paddy's Day video, I gotta tell you, if anyone ever did that to me, I'd want to slit their throat. Well, maybe not quite, but the thought would probably cross my mind. But as a coach, I'm always looking for teachable moments, so let's call this our tip of the week. Kids, don't slit anyone's throat. Words to live by. It seemed only natural that we pay homage to that occasion with a fun little game of cutthroat. So buckle up for a fun ride. The kids are ready to bowl. Live on tape from Brunswick Zone Roswell in Roswell, Georgia, home to this year's Georgia State USBC Men's Championship, it's the Prodigy Bowlers Tour, a series of unofficial, informal, and impromptu after-league challenge matches conducted with some of our youth program's most actively engaged athletes, all in an effort to simulate the pressure of tournament competition in an open play environment. The mission of Prodigy Bowlers Tour is to celebrate junior bowling while we elevate junior bowlers. This is Season 1, Episode 18, Cutthroat in Atlanta. Today, 9 of our kids went to the starting line for a 2-game qualifier to try to get to the 4-player stepladder finals. In Game 1, 2 of our players were eliminated, Christian and Hunter. It took a mark in the 10th by Karina to knock Hunter out, or he'd have advanced against the big kids. Then in Game 2, Jesse from Stars and Strikes, or Squish as we discovered he prefers being called, Karina and Logan were eliminated from the field. Kara needed a mark in the 10th and 6 pins, and she got exactly that, to knock Logan out by a single stick. So let's find out who qualified for today's stepladder finals. In the 4 spot is Kara, a 2-time winner on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. She'll face the 3 seed, Lamar, who's coming off 2 solid showings on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. The winner of that match will take on our number 2 seed, Nolan, who shot a solid 191 in that second game of qualifying to take a firm hold of that runner-up spot. The winner of that match will face our faux tournament leader. Can you guess? Charlie. If Charlie can win today, he'll catch Logan in the race for the coveted trophy pin with 7 wins apiece on the season. And that's our field today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now there is one other small bit of business to cover before we turn the players loose on the lanes. You recall I said we're playing a game called Cutthroat. And it works like this. You know what a mulligan is in golf. It's a do-over. Each player receives 2 mulligans per game. But here's the catch. They can only use one of those mulligans on themselves. So if they throw a bad shot and need overs, they get 1 chance in each game to take a shot over. The second mulligan they receive can only be used on their opponent. So if their opponent, say, throws the shutout strike in the late frames, they can invoke the cutthroat mulligan and force their opponent to throw the shot again. They don't have to use their 2 mulligans per game, but they're there if they need them. These mulligans can only be invoked following the first ball in a frame. Remember, we're bowling open play, so the bowling center's not going to reset any spares for us. So them's the rules on this particular day. It'll be interesting to see if any of these do-overs affect the outcome of any of the matches. They certainly could. So let's light this candle. Lamar, the higher finisher, with the choice of starting lane, said, Kara, you can lead us off. And look, the camera's up higher for a change. We're bowling on Atlanta today, 38 feet. Little build up in the middle, but not enough to really give the players a lot of help. Kara wide with her opening ball. Leaves the 1-2-4. You see the little indications above the players' names on the score sheet indicating that they have those 2 mulligans available. Ball hooks just enough to cover the spare, so Kara is off and running. And now here's Lamar. Straighter is greater with Lamar. He's usually pretty near the pocket. And he gets off to a solid strike with that one. As I'm reminding the players once again of their 2 options, the lifelines or chips they can play, or mulligans as we're calling them. The good mulligan you can use on yourself, or the cutthroat mulligan you can call on your opponent. Comes up just a little light, leaves the 7-pin on a mixer shot. Well, that's the difference between the power ball and the straighter ball that Lamar throws, is some of the players can come in that half pocket, that lighter area in the pocket, and blow the rack. Lamar usually needs to hit a little more solid in the pocket to carry. But he's a good spare shooter, and he knows that one's good as soon as it's off his hand. So an even match so far. Now Kara up on the right. Breaks high, nearly gets a lucky strike, but leaves just the 10. As we see Logan removing his equipment from the rack, the qualifying game was on this same pair of lanes, and Logan did not make the cut. He's not on the show today. He's in a bit of a slump, actually. I don't imagine he'll be in it for long, as Kara whiffs the 10-pin. So our first mistake of the match. Boy, that was a good one right there. You knew it off her hand. That was going to be close. She's smooth. And I suspect she won't let Lamar run off and hide. She'll be right there. Uh-oh. High hit. Breaks up the split. Leaves just the 4-7. As Lamar carefully wiping his ball and getting set to go. And once again, he is a good spare shooter. You won't see Lamar run off a big string of strikes very often, but he very rarely makes many mistakes. Very deliberate player. Digs his feet in like he's digging in a stance in a sand trap on a golf course. Hold it. But gets the Brooklyn. Way to go, Lamar. So he maintains his 11-pin lead over Kara. But now she has a chance to cut that to 1 if she can catch a double right here. Comes up just high. That 7-pin spun around, but didn't fall. She's hesitating. She's thinking about it. Oh, this is what happened a second ago as the spare was being reset. The 7 fell over. We've talked about this on the show before. This is open play, so we're not going to get the bowling center to reset spares for us. So we just shoot it as it lies. Play it as it lies, as they say in golf. So I thought she was hesitating, thinking about maybe invoking a mulligan there. A double would be quite handy in that spot, but she's going to save it for now. Oh, that just carried. That ball looked like it was trouble all the way, but it just held line enough. So Lamar with a chance to extend his lead here. And he does. Wow. Lamar plays pretty much right up the second arrow most of the time. He doesn't really move around much on the lane. This one's left. Crosses over, leaves the 5. And 20-pin lead for Lamar. Just a little past halfway through the game. He leaves a simple spare. Look at that, how he digs his foot in. That's a mannerism you don't often see with bowlers. He's cool. Let's see if Kara can unlock the mystery of the right lane here. Nope. Goes high. Leaves the 6-10.
And now I think she is hesitating. She's thinking about it. Is now the time to pull the trigger? She's checking out the score. She realizes that if she could get a strike here in the 6th, she would close the gap. She has called for the mulligan. She has called for the mulligan. And let's meet Mulligan. This is my dog, Mulligan. She's a 2-time rescue, so her whole life has been a mulligan. She loves her daddy. All right, down go the 6 and the 10. And that 8 count in the 6th is wiped clean. It's as if it never happened. She's throwing for a strike. That's how you make the mulligan pay off. Who's a good bowler? It wouldn't have done her a bit of good if she turned right around and left something standing. But she capitalized on the second chance, and now she has cut the lead to 10. And as you see on the score sheet, her smiley face mulligan, the one she can use for herself, is now used. And she carries the light shot in the 7th. And now she has brought the match back to even. That's how it's done. That's how you use it strategically. And Lamar carries that same light shot on the right lane. And now if he can catch a double here, he'll go right back out ahead. Got to get up. 2-5. Oh, he wasted no time. He's calling for his mulligan right now.
He's calling for his.
So we see the 2 and the 5 will be swept away. The scoreboard has already been cleared of the 8 count that he just threw. So again, it's as if that ball was never thrown. And now both players have used their good mulligans, the mulligans for themselves, and this for a double to take the lead. And that's how you do it. That's how you take advantage of that second chance. Very impressive. Those were 2 pressure shots these 2 players made. See if Kara can keep it going. And she rips the rack. So that's a turkey, and now she brings the match right back to even. Oh, look at this. Lamar has invoked the cutthroat mulligan on Kara. So now that strike she just threw is now taken off the board. And she has to throw another one just to keep the strike she had. So again, it's as if she never threw a ball in the 8th. She's now up in the 8th. Oh, and she doesn't quite get the 10 to go. Take another look at this. And her reaction down. Oh, no, she can't believe that thing didn't go. All right, so instead of drawing the match even, Lamar using his cutthroat mulligan very strategically forces Kara to throw it over. She doesn't get the strike. And now she's asking if she can use her other mulligan on the shot she just threw, and I don't think she quite understands. The second mulligan you have to use on the other player. You can't use it on yourself. So we're explaining it to her. Now she has to shoot this. You get one for yourself and one to use on your opponent. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. So an unforced error there, and perhaps brought on by Lamar's cagey use of that cutthroat mulligan. You get under your opponent's skin doing that. I guess that's the whole point. All right, Kara up in the ninth, see if she can regroup. She threw it good. She threw it really good. But now she's got her back against the wall. Let's see, 218. Lamar at a 218 pace, and Kara a 215 possible if she strikes out. But Lamar leaves a cluster there. The 258. So the lead is 20 at the moment. He's still in a strong position here. He just converts the spare. Oh, he chops it. And now look at this. Lamar's lead shrinks to 8, but with that open frame, Lamar's fate is no longer in his own hands. No matter what he does here in the 10th frame, he can't shut out Kara. Lamar with a possible 213, Kara with a possible 215. Who's gonna step up? Well, there's a strike right in the pocket. Okay, Kara has invoked her cutthroat mulligan. I think that was a wise call. So everybody has used up their lifelines. So Lamar will have to throw that one again. Well, this one's going left. And he leaves a 9. So projecting forward, if Lamar makes this and fills it up, he will finish with a 203. That would force Kara to get the first strike in the 10th. If Kara goes spare strike, she's 195. She'd need the first strike. All right, there's that spare that Lamar needed. And now he just needs a few pins in count. But if he can fill it up, count could become important. Pretty good ball there. It's a 9 count. That is a 202 and a solid game for Lamar. One open frame where he chopped the 2-5-8. All right, it's all on Kara now. She must strike on this ball, or Lamar wins. Oh, it's wide, wide of the mark, and Lamar is our winner. Lamar will advance to match 2. Kara will finish things out here. Doesn't matter. It's all academic. She finishes with a 183. That's a pretty solid game, but Lamar is the one who is moving on to match 2. He will face Nolan in our semifinal match when we return.
Hey, why don't you let loose? Let loose. Go bowling, bowling this weekend. Have fun, go bowling, bowling this weekend. Let loose.
Let loose at Valley Bowl. Take the Valley Highway or Academy exit to security.
Congratulations to Lamar on a strong performance and a 202-183 victory over Kara in our opening match. Both players used both of their mulligans that game, their self-mulligans and their cutthroat mulligans on their opponent, yet it didn't seem to have much effect on the outcome. So Lamar moves on to our semifinal match against Nolan, who's coming off a strong performance of his own in qualifying. But before we get to match 2, there's something I need to get off my chest. And I'm not talking about the chest congestion I've had all week. Usually the last thing in the world I want to do on one of these shows is spout off and make a big statement. But this week I feel compelled to take a few minutes to get a message across. During the filming of the show you're watching, one of the parents expressed rather forcefully their displeasure over this format, insisting that giving these kids mulligans doesn't prepare them for any kind of competition anywhere, an assertion that, frankly, I can't argue with. I know of no bowling tournament anywhere that affords its players do-overs on any shots. This parent went on to assert that this certainly doesn't prepare kids for the PBA. No argument from me on that either. But I want to address those concerns in a good bit more detail, because there's more beneath the surface than I think this parent was seeing. First, if the goal was to prepare these kids for the PBA, we wouldn't be conducting open play after-league challenge matches for the right to sign their name to a silly pin that they might win at the end of the season. Instead, we'd be doing one-step drills, accuracy drills, in-depth video analysis, and more drills. On a side note, as a USBC Silver Certified coach, I'm available for private lessons where I'll be happy to put any willing bowler through all those paces. But what's most relevant here is that I'm running a youth bowling program, and frankly, only a small fraction of the kids who bowl in it are destined for a career of professional bowling. So my goal must be to provide a series of challenges that will engage their imagination while tapping into their creativity and competitive spirit. Competition is important to me. I don't believe in participation trophies or other meaningless awards. I like to test these kids. Now, as for this mulligan cutthroat format in particular, I offer the following defense. First of all, it was done in fun as a reaction to the silly remark I made on the Friday night video highlighted at the top of today's show. But even with that, I wouldn't have proceeded with this show if I didn't think it had value. As I say at the top of each and every one of our shows, these after-league challenge matches are intended to simulate the pressure of tournament competition in an open play environment. If there is preparation for tournament competition to be gleaned from bowling in these Prodigy Bowlers Tour matches, it comes from putting these kids into situations where they feel some pressure, be it artificial or otherwise. Needing a strike in the 10th to win, for instance, even if it is for nothing more than the right to scribble your name on a silly decorative bowling pin. By introducing the self-mulligan and cutthroat mulligan, we add pressure points into each match. When an athlete throws a bad shot, sure, they won't get to invoke a mulligan in collegiate bowling or in the PBA. Everyone is well aware of that. But when they invoke a mulligan in today's competition, think about what happens. It puts added pressure on their next shot. You won't want to spend a mulligan only to have it go for naught. So it forces them to really focus in and capitalize on the second chance they have. It becomes a pressure shot. And if you want to know what bowling at the highest level is really all about, believe me, it's about performing when you're under pressure, when you've got to have that strike in the 9th, 10th, and 11th to shut out your opponent. Similarly, when one of our contestants today throws a perfectly good strike, only to have their opponent invoke a cutthroat mulligan on them, taking that strike off the board, once again, we've added a pressure point in the game where now they have to strike a second time just to keep the first strike they threw. As a former PBA player myself who cashed in over half the PBA Southwest region events I entered, I gotta tell you, I'm all about putting these kids in pressure situations. That's what Prodigy Bowlers Tour is designed to do, while at the same time, hopefully, it entertains our rapidly growing audience, of course. Look, nobody's pretending that this format is a preparation for the PBA. But if all you see in this format is how the mulligans give the kids a second chance on one of their bad shots, you miss the whole point of the format. It's about adding pressure, not relieving it. Prodigy Bowlers Tour is an entertainment program first. And one of the things that our viewers have told me time and time again is that they particularly enjoy how we mix up the formats from week to week. That's why in November we played an alternate shot doubles event, and why we used 3 different formats on one show in December, including something called Suicide No Tap, where 9 is a strike and a strike is 0. Some of the kids absolutely hated that format. So you can bet your bottom dollar that I'll bring it back. As well as a game called Pinpoint, which used to be a TV game show, where it's not about knocking down the most pins, it's about knocking down precisely the right number of pins each frame. I want these kids to learn not only how to bowl, but how to be problem solvers. If they're going to be competitive in this game, they've got to be nimble of mind on the lanes, as well as nimble with their physical games. So I'm always going to throw them curveballs to make them think. Look, the way I see it, I have 2 roles here, as the creator of Prodigy Bowlers Tour and as the youth director at Brunswick Zone Roswell. Clearly, there's some overlap, but there are also some areas where the 2 roles diverge. One thing I know is certain. I'm running a youth program, not a bowling boot camp. My goal is to make it fun and challenging, something that can be enjoyed by kids of all skill levels. If it's a boot camp you want, then you should have been here last summer when I conducted something called the Summer Bowling Boot Camp, which included an intensive, and to some, tedious, spare clinic. But you know what? Some of those kids came out of that clinic as better spare shooters, and that adds up to higher scores. The minute this ceases to be fun, and it's less fun when I have to defend what I'm doing, then believe me, there are other things I can do with my time besides spending upwards of 20 to 25 hours each weekend editing these videos for very little return for my time and effort, other than the immense satisfaction I get, and I think our kids get too, by the way, from knowing that we've developed and are growing a remarkably loyal and appreciative fan base of prodigy heads. And I know the kids on the show enjoy what we do too. I love doing these shows. I love the kids. And yes, I love coaching these kids up and helping them get better, something I don't get to spend as much time doing as I'd like when I'm spending time dealing with aggravated parents whose only real complaint is that they're not happy with the rules I dreamed up for, let's all say it together,
a series of unofficial, informal, and impromptu after-league challenge matches. This is all for fun, okay? F-U-N. I don't do confrontations. I don't do drama. Any junior bowler who wants to join us is welcome. All they need is their parents' permission and their parents' consent to allow us to put them up on YouTube. This is about lifting kids up. Sometimes the competitions we stage will take different forms. That's part of what makes Prodigy unique. Some of the formats you may find fascinating, some not so much. Too bad. I do this for the kids and for our audience, not to be second-guessed along the way. Life's too short.
All righty then. I feel better. Do you feel better? All right, match 2. Our 3-seed Lamar taking on our 2-seed Nolan. And Nolan, being the higher finisher, had the option of starting lanes, and he's going to let Lamar begin the match on the left. Nolan wants to finish first. And Lamar goes through the nose, leaves the 3-6-7 split to start. That's not what he had in mind as an opening salvo, I'm sure. And I think he's talking about it. He may invoke his own mulligan on the very first ball of the game. I think that's exactly what has transpired here. Yep. So, Lamar uses his mulligan on the first frame. So now he's going to be bowling without a net the rest of the way. Crossing over, leaves the 5. That's better than what he had. Easy conversion. I think as good a spare shooter as Lamar is, he probably could have made that 3-6-7 too, but why chance it? You certainly won't have a problem with this. So, a mark to start the match. And we get our first look at Nolan's new do. He bowled really well in the qualifying rounds. And it goes. And let's take a look at his reaction to that one. Yeah, baby. Yeah. I like it. Nolan has plenty of passion for this game. He wants so bad to win. And look at this, he goes through the nose in the second frame and leaves the baby split. And covers it. How do you like that? Take another look at it. Ball deflects off the 3 into the 10. And that's how you do the 3-10 baby split. And that one looked wide off his hand. So Lamar with some difficulty here. Of course, he used his own mulligan in the first frame, so he'll have to shoot this. Get that ball over left of the head pin. It doesn't quite get over enough. And he is 8 out in the second and cedes a 16-pin lead to Nolan early. Why didn't we get the camera up here high like this before? Ooh, my goodness gracious. Just high enough that it broke through and left the 4-7-9. Got to get the ball over left of the 4-pin. Slide the 4 over into the 9. The ball will take the 7. And that one is going to get too much 4. So back-to-back opens for Lamar, and Nolan now in a commanding position early in the match. Something disturbed him. That's smart. When you get up there and you start your approach and something bothers you, stop, reset, go back, start your routine from the beginning. Well, he threw a pretty good ball, too. It didn't quite have enough juice to kick out the 10, but makeable spare. He's been pretty good with his 10 pins recently. Well, that was closer to making the 11 pin. So an open for Nolan, and that keeps Lamar in the match. See if Nolan can regroup. Oh, he pulled that one. It just barely ticks the left side of the head pin, but he gets 9 out of it, leaving the 9 pin. And he is not waiting. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. Well, this is not a race. Okay, we're gonna wait, and I'm gonna go get his ball. Oh, that's a good look right there. That's what everyone wants to see. All right, Nolan will completely reset now. Look out. All right, he covers the spare. I don't know what he was thinking there, but obviously he doesn't look at the pins when he bowls. So Lamar now with a chance to get back in this match. If he can put a double up, he'll cut the lead to 5. Well, there's the first strike he needs to do that. It's a crossover, but when you have a low-scoring match like this one looks like it's turning into, you take them how you can get them. Looks like he may have moved a little left. And he gets the light shaker. Wow. Look at that. So Lamar does get the match down to 5 pins, and now Nolan up on the right lane. Comes up just fractionally high. That was a pretty good ball there. Leaves the 4. When the scoring pace is low, you just got to be really careful with your spares. Get up. Well, that move he makes to stretch his torso to the right before he goes, I'd much rather see him do that and then set himself. It's almost as if he took off before he completely recoiled. And now he has handed the lead back to Lamar with that open. But a solid strike to back it up, so take another look at that one. And his reaction? Yeah, baby. I love Nolan's passion when it's positive energy. He'll sometimes get a little negative energy thing going on and have a little kicking of the ball return, and that's not so useful. Lamar up on the right, and that one is wide all the way. And now he's got the 1, 2, and the 4. Get the ball over left of the head pin. Well, not that far left of the head pin. So Lamar is open once again and hands the lead back to Nolan. Here, I don't want it. You take it. No, I don't want it. You can have it. This is not turning into one of the more tidy games we've seen bowled on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. But someone has to win. Through the nose. 6-10. Lamar going cross lane. And look out, almost a chop, but he covers the spare. And now Nolan with a big chance right here to extend the lead. Working on a strike. Once again, I think it's the, we have a very young bowler over on lane 27. And I think Nolan is just catching it out of the corner of his eye, so he's just letting the kid bowl. And now he's ready. Gives it room. Another good ball. It just doesn't quite have enough finish to it to kick out the 10. I'll tell you what, this wouldn't be a bad time to call it. Is he calling the mulligan? He's not calling the mulligan. He's shooting the 10 after missing it badly the last time on this right lane. Oh. He misses it even wider this time and hands the lead right back to Lamar. Well, I don't think this match is going to go down in the annals of bowling history as one of the most memorable, but at the end, someone has to step up. Pretty good shot. Oh, man. Really? He just called it. He just called for it. He's calling his mulligan right now. He does not want any part of this 4-5 split, and I don't blame him. So he uses his one self-mulligan here in the 8th frame, wiping out that 4-5 split. And now both players have used their self-mulligans. They only have the cutthroat mulligan left. And now let's see what Nolan can do to capitalize on his second chance. Wide of the mark, but I promise you he'd rather shoot the 2-4-5 than the 4-5. We have, let's see, 3-4 strikes so far this game between the two players. Covers the spare. So that was probably a good time to call that mulligan. Lamar up in the 8th frame. Time ticking down. Puts it right in the pocket. Doesn't quite get the 5 to go over to take out the 7. So we would call that a swishin' 7. And now he will go cross lane at the corner pin. And gets the spare. So we've got a close one. Lamar holding a narrow 3-pin lead as he steps up in the 9th frame. Crosses over, leaves the 6-10. And now the lead is down to 1. Well, the last time Lamar was up on the left lane, he left the 6-10 and almost chopped it. see if he makes some kind of adjustment. Uh-oh. And this time he does chop it, and once again the lead changes hands. And Nolan takes a 10-pin lead into the 9th. Who's gonna step up? Or is nobody gonna step up and somebody's gonna just be the last one to hand it to the other guy? Kids, do not attempt this at home. Oh my goodness, a 5 count, the 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. There's more ways to miss this than I care to count. But the best play is to put that ball right between the 2 and the 5 with a little hook on it. Carry out the 8, hope the 7 goes. But he chops the 2 off the 5, and once again the lead changes hands. Oh, and Nolan is just holding back his urges to destroy that ball return with his foot or his head or his... I know the feeling, but you've got to resist. You got to resist. He's down by 6. If he can do the unthinkable and catch a double here, he can really put some heat on Lamar. But marks are at a premium this game, so just getting through the 10th frame clean might be enough. You just never know. But you don't want to be giving it away here. What kind of emotions are going through his heart and mind right now? Well, he gives it the big loft, and it gets the big skid and finishes late. And too late, he leaves the washout. The 1, 2, 4, 10. And he cannot believe he airmailed the headpin like that. The one thing about Nolan's passion is he's real hard on himself. You got to be your own best friend out there. Oh, and that one's wide too. That one's wide too. He opens in the 10th. And a 137 finish. And now Lamar, all he needs is 4 pins in 2 balls. Well, the game was there for the taking. I mean, neither player seemed to want it. This one would have been pretty easy to win, but Lamar takes it at the end with that 8 count, and he will move into the final match. Wow. This was not a clinic in shot making, let's say. But you know what? Sometimes slow and steady wins the race. The scores aren't that impressive, but in match play, it doesn't matter what your final score is, as long as it's 1 pin higher than your opponent. That's what makes match play so interesting. You just never know what it'll take. As Lamar puts one through the nose, he's going to finish with a 151. I can pretty much promise you that that is not a game that he will brag about to his children someday, but it's enough to get him into the final match. So when we return, Charlie and Lamar for all the cheese.
Now, bring the spirit of Prodigy Bowlers Tour to your bowling center with Prodigy Bowlers Tour t-shirts and sportswear, including collared shirts with the Prodigy logo printed on the back to show that you support junior bowling. Check out the entire assortment of Prodigy t-shirts in the Brownswick store. Visit PRODIGYBowlersTour.com to see the selection. See the ash gray Celebrating Junior Bowling, Elevating Junior Bowlers t-shirt, or the Who Will Win the Coveted Trophy Pin t-shirt. Or maybe you'd want the one that says, I've come to get my bowl on, right on the front of the shirt, or simply, Bowl Me. There's a t-shirt that says, Bowling. You probably don't get it because it's mainly for smart people. And if you're a proud parent with a junior bowler, we've got a t-shirt just for you. And how about this t-shirt? You're bowling an 8th grader. Prepare to meet defeat. Available in grades 1 through 9, most in both adult and kid sizes. And finally, the shirt that reads, Bowl better, have more fun, take lessons. Then maybe you can keep up with me. The Brownswick store is powered by the people at Cafe Press, and all of these shirts are available right now. Just go to PRODIGYBowlerstour.com and click on the link to be taken right to the store. PayPal and credit cards accepted. That's PRODIGYBowlerstour.com. Get your bowl on and bring the spirit of Prodigy Bowlers Tour to your house. Order now. Go to PRODIGYBowlerstour.com. That's PRODIGYBowlerstour.com.
So, after a pretty well-bowled first game, neither player seemed able to get on top of the transition in match 2, and the scores were predictably low. I guess you could say Lamar survived with one more spare. It wasn't pretty, but for the second week in a row, Lamar advances through 2 matches to face Charlie in the championship. Somehow, I have a feeling he's going to need more than 151 to win this one. So here we go, the championship match. Same 2 players faced off in the championship match last week. This time, Lamar climbs the step ladder to get to the final match. And he is met once again by Charlie, who is about as hot as a bowler can be. He has shrunk Logan's lead in the race for the trophy pin down to just 1 win. If he can win today, he ties it up. But Lamar may have other ideas. Last week, we weren't bowling a stepladder, we were bowling an eliminator format, but Lamar beat Charlie in each of the 2 games leading up to the championship. Wow. Charlie rips the rack in the first frame. But Lamar took Charlie down in each of the first 2 matches last week and then kind of collapsed in the championship round. But he can stay with Charlie if he bowls his A game. Well, that didn't take long. Let's take another look at that. This kid is in such good position. Perfect balance. Look at that. Comes in light. Just rips the 5 over into the 7. See you later, pins. Stand back. There's shrapnel I've got to pick out of my skin. There's a crossover for Lamar. You'll take them any way you can get them, because you're going to need quite a few of them. Suddenly the scoring pace is picked up. Wonder why. You wonder sometimes, Lamar's deliberate, almost slow pace if it'll affect Charlie at all. Lamar comes up high, leaving the 6-10. Boy, I tell you what, I might be tempted to take one right here. Take one right here, maybe get that strike and take the lead. But he's going to keep it in his pocket and shoot the 6-10, which he chopped the last time he threw at this. Look out. Oh, he missed it a different way this time, but still took the 6 off the 10. And now Charlie with a 14-pin lead. You can't be giving him gifts like that, because he'll do that to you. Sport pattern? What sport pattern? Charlie's gotten on such a roll lately. He's just like a machine out there. So relaxed. That one a little wide off his hand. Doesn't quite recover. He leaves the 2-4. Now, if I'm Charlie, I might think about taking one right here. But he won't. And covers the 2-4. All right, Lamar, that open frame, you have dug yourself a bit of a hole. Let's see if you can dig out of it. This is not an insurmountable lead. How about that? I'm telling you, he's a gritty bowler. He'll just keep hanging around, and he might just sneak up and catch you. And that one's wide. He leaves the 2-4-5. Lamar was asking a moment ago if he could invoke his mulligan in the third frame, but he had already thrown his second ball in the third frame, and his opponent had already bowled subsequently. You can't go back retroactively like that, but he can use one here, and that's what he has elected to do. So that 2-4-5 comes off the board, and now Lamar up in the 5th with a chance to double. This would cut Charlie's lead to 12 if he can catch a strike. Oh, what a great shot! I tell you what, you invoke the mulligan like that, you put all the pressure on yourself. You've got to make use of it. And he just did. And I don't know if it got to Charlie, but that's the widest shot we've seen from Charlie. And now Charlie's going to take his mulligan, I believe. So that 2-8 that he just left, that will go away. As will Charlie's mulligan, and no, let's see, yes. So he will be up in the 5th. We're back where we were. See if he can make use of it. See you later, 9-pin. And now if he can put another strike up, he'll be off and running. Wow. Wow. I just sit back and am in awe. 14 years old, friends. When I was 14 years old, I was not throwing strikes like that. I don't know what I was doing, but it had no real sense of accomplishment, I can promise you. Oh, and Lamar just doesn't quite get that one to finish. You could tell that he didn't quite catch it off his hand. And now he's left himself a tricky 4-5 baby split. There's only one way to make this one. You got to fit the ball right between them. Not a lot of tolerance either. See what he can do. Ooh. Ooh! Great shot. Well, that keeps him in it. Take another look at this one. Right between the 4 and the 5. That's how it's done, friends. And that was huge. An open frame there could have been curtains. But now Lamar needs to get striking. Pretty good ball. Really good ball. He's still in it. Just got to keep fighting. You can't give up. You don't know what your opponent's going to do. Wow, he slaps out the 10 with authority. That's striking with bad intentions there.
He's calling one right here.
And, okay, Lamar has just invoked the cutthroat mulligan on Charlie. And I was waiting for it. I wondered if that was the time. You don't want to leave him in your pocket. So Charlie's strike comes off the board, and he goes once again in the 7th. And throws essentially the same shot again, slapping out the 10 once again. I think Charlie had to know that was coming. But now the lead, 34. Getting late. Comes up a little light. Leaves a 2-pin. I don't want to cast any aspersions here, but we've seen Charlie struggle with single pin spares from time to time on Prodigy. I wouldn't expect him to miss a 2, but we've seen him do it a few times. But that one is in the books. He looks really strong today. Charlie is really stroking it. All right, Lamar, you've got a strike working. Strike here would cut it to 23. One more in the 9th, cut it to 13. But your margin for error is down to about nothing now. Come on, show us what you got. Oh, look out. No. That's wide of the pocket, and he leaves the 1-2-9. One we don't see all that often with these kids. Shoot it just like a strike. Hit it on the right side of the head pin. Right in the pocket area. Or you can throw at Brooklyn, but not that much Brooklyn. And now he's really in trouble. So let's project forward. The best Lamar can do is 212. Charlie is going at a 237 pace. Charlie would just about have to stumble all over himself as Lamar leaves the washout in the 9th. And it is getting harder and harder. Lamar is narrowing his path with each errant shot that he throws. He is nodding to his mom. This is not happening. And that one is out of here. So Lamar with a possible 189. Charlie sitting at 187. He needs 3 pins, and this is over. See ya. That's the winning ball right there. So, Logan, you've got you a match now for the coveted trophy pin as Charlie joins Logan with 7 wins on the season. Solid strike in the 10th. He is really bowling well. Well, for just a second, we were looking at the 5-7-10, but it doesn't really matter at this point. He's in the 240s. .246 with a conversion. Make short work of that 10 pin. And that's how you just go out and you take it. A disappointing finish for Lamar, I know, but and that ball has no meaning at all. That is just a I'm ready to go eat lunch shot. I wouldn't place any stock at all on that. He is just going through the motions to finish out the game. Crosses over, gets 8. He's going to finish with 167. The score doesn't matter. This was Charlie's day. He was not going to get beat by anybody today, I think.
Now, bring the spirit of Prodigy Bowlers Tour to your bowling center with Prodigy Bowlers Tour t-shirts and sportswear, including collared shirts with the Prodigy logo printed on the back to show that you support junior bowling. Check out the entire assortment of Prodigy t-shirts in the Brownswick store. Visit ProdigyBowlersTour.com to see the selection. See the ash gray Celebrating Junior Bowling, Elevating Junior Bowlers t-shirt, or the Who Will Win the Coveted Trophy Pin t-shirt. Or maybe you'd want the one that says, I've come to get my bowl on, right on the front of the shirt, or simply, Bowl Me. There's a t-shirt that says, Bowling. You probably don't get it because it's mainly for smart people. And if you're a proud parent with a junior bowler, we've got a t-shirt just for you. And how about this t-shirt? You're bowling an 8th grader. Prepare to meet defeat. Available in grades 1 through 9, most in both adult and kid sizes. And finally, the shirt that reads, Bowl better, have more fun, take lessons. Then maybe you can keep up with me. The Brownswick store is powered by the people at Cafe Press, and all of these shirts are available right now. Just go to PRODIGYBowlersTour.com and click on the link to be taken right to the store. PayPal and credit cards accepted. That's PRODIGYBowlersTour.com. Get your bowl on and bring the spirit of Prodigy Bowlers Tour to your house. Order now. Go to PRODIGYBowlersTour.com. That's PRODIGYBowlersTour.com. .246 to 167, and it's another win for Charlie. You know, back in the 90s, before he was born, there was an ad campaign for Choice Hotels where famous pro bowlers like Dick Weber and Bo Burton would pop out of a suitcase sitting on a hotel bed and declare that winning never gets old. I'm sure Charlie would agree. That was some great bowling.
I got news for you. This draws you into a tie with Logan for the most wins this year.
Nice.
So what were you throwing out there?
I threw my new ball, Haywire Limited, an overseas ball. Just got it 3 days ago, and I've tried it out. Works pretty well.
Should we disqualify you for that?
I made sure it's USBC approved. I made
okay.
sure.
All right. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's legal. So it's a great ball though. Rolled good. Felt pretty good today. Felt sharp. So
you bowled great in qualifying, and 246 in the finals. That's pretty good. So congratulations again.
Thank you.